Hi guys, welcome back to Plow and Pantry. I'm Alicia, and today I am processing 3 flats of strawberries. This might look like 2, but it was 3 2 days ago. And here's what happened. So 2 days ago in the evening, I got an order. This is from a neighbor's football team booster thing. I get these every year from them. I think it's a great fundraiser for a school to do because everyone loves strawberries. And they come like this. I think every year I order one more flat. They come when they are delivered. I don't always have time to deal with them. So the first night they came, what I did was I rinsed them all in some lemon water so that they would last a little longer, actually vinegar water, so they would last a little longer, because in my house, I don't know about you, but strawberries start to mold in like 2-3 days. And I knew that was Monday, and that was Monday evening, early evening, and I knew I couldn't get to them yesterday, and I'd have to wait till today. And so I rinsed them all. We ate a bunch fresh. I always put a bowl in the fridge. We ate them at dinner that night. We had some in yogurt parfaits this morning. We had some yesterday. We just love the strawberries. So I always pull out the best for fresh eating right away. And then the others I repiled into here, and I managed to get them into only 4 things. And I did that partly for storage in the fridge while I was waiting to be able to get to them. So today I'm going to process through the rest of these. I have some things here. I've got some jars in my water bath canner on the stove already. I've got some lemon juice for a couple different projects. Do you hear that ping? I have a bucket of sugar here because I know that my little sugar jar here is almost out, and I'm going to need sugar for 2 recipes today. So I just decided to bring up the whole bucket, use it out of here, and then I'll refill my jar. I've got what's left of the strawberries that we're going to work through. And I have other jars over there waiting for their turn. So what we're going to start with actually is I'm going to get some into the freeze dryer. My youngest daughter loves, it's one of her favorite snacks, is the freeze-dried strawberries. My middle daughter loves freeze-dried apple slices. So I'm going to get some of these into the freeze dryer. I'm going to go turn it on so the chamber can start to cool and get my trays so I can start slicing this up. And I bought a new tool to make it faster this year, and I'm hoping that it works. We're testing it out. I'm gonna go get those trays. Okay, let's get some trays started here. Let me move my sugar. I don't need it for the freeze-dried stuff. All right, so what I did this year is I got one of these egg slicer things. Now, a long time ago, I had one of these, and I did not like it. It was plastic, and these things were weak, and it said like it could slice avocado and hard-boiled eggs and cucumbers. It did not do cucumbers. A bunch of different things. And I was like, I ended up getting rid of it. I decided to rebuy this one, and I went looking for a really good one this year. We'll see. I haven't tried it yet, but my thought was, because I like to do sliced strawberries in the freeze dryer, I figured this would help me save time if it works. Let me get a cutting board and my chicken tub. The chickens have enjoyed the tops and bits of strawberry we've given them. And a knife here, because I am going to need to get the tops off. Now, I know some people would really just core out the green part, but when you're going through this many strawberries, I just don't have the patience to see. There's one that's starting to mold. I don't have the patience when I'm going through this many strawberries to sit there and twist around each little top. I just get as close to the top as I can, or as much red as I can. Sometimes the top doesn't look completely ripe. So this is going to be a back and forth topping and slicing. Let's give this, I've been waiting for today. I've been waiting. I got this before the strawberries came, and I was waiting. I have jars popping over there. They're like brand new ones. They don't have anything in them. Okay, let's see. Did it squish them? No, those are looking pretty good. Those are good. They're a little thinner. I mean, if I'd have looked at it, I would have realized. But that's okay. They'll just freeze dry faster. We'll have to see, though, if it holds up to doing hundreds of strawberries. Ooh, nice. This was a good buy. I will link it below. I do like to do these in a single layer. I know some people don't, but I feel like not only do they freeze dry faster, but they don't get clumped together. because I don't like them clumped together. We like them almost like a chip. Singles, please. Well, now that I know that, I'm going to top a bunch more strawberries and slice a bunch more. Okay, as I do this last tray, I want to point out just a couple things. You may have noticed me picking through the strawberries. I like to, these will concentrate down a little bit and like their sugars and stuff because the water will come out. But I like to use the other ripe, beautiful, great ones for this. I like to save a little bit of the less ripe ones for the jelly I'm going to make or the jam. So that, and that's an old trick of using part, I think old timers use like a quarter of whatever jam they were making. They would use a quarter of the fruit would be underripe or slightly underripe, so that because it has more pectin in it, and that way they could use the natural pectin from the underripe fruit. So I'll be using some of that, some of the more underripe ones in the jam, and then also I'm making strawberry lemonade concentrate, and I will use some of those in there as well. I don't need pectin for that because that's not a jam, but for both the jam and the strawberry lemonade concentrate, I will be using sugar and sweetening it up anyways. So, and in both of those recipes, the sugar is fairly adjustable. So I can, adjustable up, like you can add more if needed, not less. So I can do that. So for this slicer that is still going strong, you guys, I'm going to recommend this one. It's pretty awesome. I have found it very convenient to turn it upside down and just deposit a strawberry straight onto the tray. I find that pretty darn quick, but when you do, here's a tip. Putting it in, I keep my hand over the back because when it snaps through the back of the strawberry, it does spray a little strawberry juice. Ask me how much I had to wipe off my glasses before I decided to do that. But it is very convenient to just put it down here and then just fan these out. I found this pretty nice. I'm glad I bought this. It would work to the same way if you wanted to freeze them, like not freeze drying, but maybe you wanted to freeze them on a single layer and then put them in a zippy bag. Or if you were dehydrating them, this would be a great tool for that as well. Now I might see if it works on cucumbers because that other one did not. Not that I really don't use cucumber rounds, circles very much. So maybe we'll see. But this is going to be 5 trays, and I'm hoping to have enough left after today to stick back in the fridge. If these take less than 2 days, I should still have some good strawberries for another round of them, because not only are these one of my daughter's favorite snacks, but I also want to have some for, I'm going to do a big breakfast, freezer breakfast, big batch cooking day soon, and I want to make some strawberry lemonade scones. Those are some of our favorites. And I use a combination of fresh strawberries and freeze-dried strawberries for that. So I'd like to have it for that too. If not, I will just slice them and freeze them because it is also easy to freeze dry things that are pre-frozen. A lot of people always pre-freeze their things. And when I don't have fresh strawberries, that's what I buy to make the freeze-dried strawberries. I buy frozen sliced strawberries because then I don't have to. We don't like the whole freeze-dried ones. Get these on, and then I think my vacuum chamber should be ready. Get a few spots filled here with some extras. I may or may not have been snacking as I went along. I'm going to get these out to my freeze dryer and get it started, and then I'm going to start on the strawberry lemonade concentrate. So right here, I started making some strawberry lemonade concentrate to can. That is something we enjoy in the summer. But in order to keep this video short because it's a long day, I decided to make a separate video with the strawberry lemonade concentrate recipe. And I will link that in an iCard here so you can get that if you want to. And then I went back to slicing up and deheading more strawberries to make jam and some other things. I'm going to get my 6 cups of strawberries in here, and I think I'm going to double batch I think I'm going to double batch the strawberry jam. So I'm going to do 6 more cups. That means I'm going to need 9 cups of sugar. I'm going to go ahead and get the sugar in because I like to let it sit and macerate with the strawberries for as long as I can. Sometimes I do it overnight even. This is another recipe I have a video for. It is a no pectin strawberry jam. It just has strawberries and sugar and a little lemon juice. And I will link that video as well in an iCard. I made it a few months ago during January, so you can check it out if you want more details. So the ratio is 6 cups of strawberries to 4.5 cups of sugar. I will link, I have done a video already of the strawberry jam recipe, and I will link that if I didn't already say that. If you want to watch a video of just that, it was just a few weeks ago. Just realized I forgot to put my plate in the freezer that I like to do, so I'm going to stick that in now. I really am fishing for some of the underripe ones right now. None of them are underripe ripe. They're just not as ripe as the others. Like if I can find a good example, like this one doesn't have red all the way up. It's got a little white even right there. Cut off the white part, put the red in. Because I think what I'm going to do with the rest of these after jelly is I'm going to go ahead and slice and flash freeze them. That way I have them to do another freeze dryer load, or I can make more jam if I run out before my strawberries are ready, or I can make more strawberry lemonade concentrate, or we have frozen strawberries for smoothies or baked goods, stuff like that. So I think that is going to be the best route for me to go today. Like that. And the ones I freeze, I want those to be nice ripe ones since I'm not sure yet how they're going to end up. By the way, you don't have to puree your strawberries for jam. You can go chunky if you like. I mean, they're just beautiful. They're beautiful. I may or may not have been snacking on them the whole time that we've been here together today. I did try once years ago to use this food processor to slice strawberries because I do have a blade that I think is meant for cheese that is slicing. Goes around, you put it through, and it's supposed to make thin slices, but I found it just mushed the strawberries. It didn't really slice them well. It did better with harder things. I hear my canner. Sounds like it might be boiling. Yes, it is. So I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes. And then we will let it sit for 5 minutes with the lid off before we take the jars out. Okay, I have my 6 other cups. And this is already getting macerated in here. I mean, I chopped up the strawberries. That does help the process, but it just draws out that liquid and makes them just kind of zzz down. All right, this is going to actually have to wait a while before I start cooking it because I have the strawberry lemonade concentrate in my canner. I only have 1 water bath canner. Actually, I can use my digital one as a water bath, but I can't fit everything in it. We'll see what I decide to do. For now, though, I'm going to deal with the rest of the strawberries and set that aside. So what I think I'm going to do is freeze these, slice and freeze these on cookie sheets. They get a little bit cleaned up here. I do like to take care of fruit things like measuring cups and food processors and stuff that have pureed fruit on them right away because they do dry on there extra sticky and it's harder to get off. But if you do it right away, it just rinses right off. Okay, you know what? I'm actually having a different idea right now. So I'm going to, because I know I have way more than what I need to, I have like 2 big baking sheets I can get in my freezer. And I know that I have way more of these still left than what it would take to fill those 2. So what I think I might do after that, so I've rinsed these off already, I'll freeze some slices on the tray and then I will take some rest and I'll make some more puree because I can turn that into strawberry lemonade concentrate or jam later on. It'll save me a step. So I think I'm going to do that. So we'll do, it'll go in the freezer and be easy to use later. First, you know what I think I need to do? I have time on the lemonade concentrate. I think I need to take my strawberry bins out to the chickens. I think one of my chickens has already escaped. It was raining outside. I'm a little bit wet now. I'm just going to use some parchment paper sheets here to help keep strawberries from sticking to the pan. Let's get right back to slicing again. Man, these look so good. You know what? First I'm going to do, I'm going to take my, our bowl of fresh eating ones that I put aside and pull out some of the looking awesome ones in here. Just kind of replenish our bowl. There we go. And then let me make some little corner weights. And my little liners. There we go. That'll just hold down the parchment paper while I get everything in there. So these are going to be the ones that I slice and freeze. You know what? I'm thinking about, same thing about this extra stuff I'm doing. I'm thinking about the strawberry puree and that it might be good. Ooh. It might be good, instead of leaving it in there to make jam and lemonade concentrate with, it might be good to make, like if I freeze dry it and make strawberry powder to put in things like smoothies and stuff like that. I might try that just for fun. I'm going to be doing some lemon experiments with lemon in the freeze dryer soon, and maybe I'll just do a tray of strawberries with it. Strawberry puree, just to see how that goes. And when you do this, all you got to do is stick one of these trays in the freezer for 1 to 2 hours, because these are thin, they're going to freeze fairly quickly, and then you can dump them into a Ziploc bag and they won't be stuck together. When they're frozen, they'll be individual pieces, so you can take out however many you need. I have been surprised at this, handling big strawberries like this. The first one I did, I was like, no way. Oh, pretty darn good. It doesn't seem the right size. It doesn't seem like it should work. Honestly, I wasn't even sure how much time that would save me, because I'm still topping the strawberries. I'm still putting it in each one. I'm still fanning them out. But it was a lot, because that first batch I did, what I put in the freeze dryer, 5 freeze dryer trays, it took me less than 15 minutes to get all the tops sliced off and all of them sliced and put on there, because I walked out to put my trays in the freeze dryer and my chamber wasn't cooled yet. And it only takes like 14 or 15 minutes to cool. So it did save me some time. I've done it before, hand slicing all these strawberries, and I know it took me a lot longer than 15 minutes. All right, I'm going to go stick these in my outside deep freezer. All right, my timer just went off, so I'm going to take that off the heat, take off the lid, set a timer for 5 minutes, and then I will be back to take those out of the canner. Meanwhile, I'm going to get started on my jam, so that as soon as that stuff comes out, I can put my jam stuff in. Alrighty. We'll see how much space this takes up. This kind of jam, since it doesn't have the pectin, it doesn't bubble up as much as regular jam. I feel like I need to scoop this and not pour it. I'm going to splash. Where did that 2-cup measure go? So I can probably fit more in a regular saucepan. If you've never canned jam or jelly, you want to have a large pot, even though it looks, when you first put your stuff in, it looks like that's way too much. Like you're barely covering the bottom. Your stuff only comes to here, but it bubbles up while it's cooking. Guys, the smell of strawberries in this house is so good. It's so good. Problem is, one of these days I'm going to have a stove that is not under a microwave, because it always gets in my way. But that's just life right now. When we moved in this house like 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, one of our first things we were going to do was remodel the kitchen. It was the only thing we didn't really like about the house at the time. But there turned out to be a lot of things that needed to be done to it. And there went our money for the kitchen remodel. So who knows when it'll happen now. Someday. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this on, and I'm gonna refill my little dish of vinegar here. So with this jam, if you did not watch the other video, it's just, you're boiling it until it jams. It will boil down, it will get thick, it will gel. We'll use the plate to make sure, but you can really tell. That is my strawberry lemonade concentrate ready to come out of the canner. So let's get that out. And I'm gonna slice up some more strawberries while I let this come to a boil. Okay, got 7 half pints of strawberry lemonade concentrate. What I'm gonna do is get some new jars in here for the jam that's over here. This, I have 9 here. It's probably not enough. Refresh my hot water for my lids. So, random tip, not sure if it matters to most people, but the first time I did these in my white jars, it left a little reddish brown mark that I still haven't gone up. So I stack my lids opposite, like I'll put this one upside down so because it's going on the bottom and I don't want the glue to stain my bowl. And then the next one, get these all out here. The next one I will put down the other way. So the one on the bottom won't be touching the bowl to stain it. The other one, I alternate the up and down because if you don't, keep them like this, they stick together pretty well, and then I don't feel like the water really gets in there and softens that up enough. So that's just how I do it. That's not necessarily a right or wrong thing. That's just what I do. And these are going in here. I cut off this plastic shrink wrap, and then I will save the box and use it to store jars on my shelf. Sometimes I don't. When I have a lot of the same thing, I will put them in a container of some sort that I can pull a whole bunch off with. Strawberry jam, marinara sauce, canned tomatoes, because it's just easier to like reach in the back and stuff. And then as I use them up, I will often use these in the summer to give people produce. Just one thing I do. I have recently, I never pay attention to boxes. There are recipes on here. What's this one? Blood orange ginger marmalade. I'm not a marmalade person, but I am a blood orange person. Just check your canning boxes. Now, when I was making the lemonade concentrate, some of the water evaporated out, so I need to add some more hot water. Get the lid back on so it can come to a boil. By the way, these lemonades have to sit here for 12 to 24 hours. It looks like all but one have already popped. All right, let's check on this. It's starting to bubble, which is fabulous. It's got a long way to go, just so you know. All right, so for the rest of this, I don't need to use this anymore. I am going to reset up my food processor. I might have to go downstairs for more bags. I do have those little bag holders too. I could have gotten those out. I feel they're more for like dinner things than a whole bunch of heavy puree. Okay, that is just starting to boil over there, the jam. I'm just going to be going back and forth between chopping and pureeing these and stirring the jam until it's ready, and then I'll can that up. Another box down. So I'm sitting here thinking about the strawberry powder thing, right? And I'm thinking, okay, I can put it in a smoothie and like up the strawberry factor, especially if I already have a frozen fruit and I don't want too much because I don't want to be too thick. I can maybe make strawberry ice cream with it. I'm thinking about like adding it to like a muffin or something. What would you do with strawberry powder? What am I not thinking of? And while we're on that, what would you do with all these tops? Can I make a strawberry tea or something like that with it? I don't hate but don't love the greens. I know they're edible. And I have no problems feeding it to my chickens. I don't consider that waste. It's healthy for them. They'll eat the greens and the red part. There's vitamin C. There's other things. But at the same time, this is a lot to give them. So what if I gave them some, but I did something else with some of it? You know, I'm a anti-food waste person. So what would be your ideas for these and the powder? Let me know. One more box down. Woo, last one. It's a good feeling to be on the tail end, even though these are This is the full box. This is how I got it down to two flats of boxes, was I kind of overstuffed them beyond what they were. By the way, these were packed with those little green baskets, and their strawberries were on top too. Like, you couldn't see the green baskets till you took off the top layer. So that was very full flats. But I kept those for giving away. I cleaned them and put them out near my harvest baskets and stuff, so that this summer, when I have tiny tomatoes and grapes and blueberries and things like that, or my own strawberries to give away to friends, I can use those little baskets and they get reused. They may eventually make it to a landfill. They are recyclable, at least the ones that these came in. They may eventually make their way to a landfill, but at least it'd be used a few times. So I think what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to do 1 batch of the puree in a Ziploc bag with 6 cups measured out, because my jam recipe and my lemonade concentrate recipe both use 6 cups. And then I could easily transfer that if I decide to pull it out and make either of those things, or even just make strawberry lemonade. That's already pre-measured for me, and it saves me a step. And then the rest I will just pack as tightly as I can into a Ziploc bag so that I can put that on a freeze dryer tray to make the strawberry powder. You label this real quick. Okay, I just checked on my jam over there. It is getting pretty boily, so I'm gonna have to keep a closer eye on it. I might have to take a break from cutting strawberries here. It was close to the top, so I keep looking over there to see if it's boiling over. My kids have been looking forward to this for like 3 weeks. I think I order them either late January, early February, and they come the first week of March. And when I order them, I'm like, I ordered the strawberries today. And they're like, yes. It's that little bit of spring before it's really spring. You can't tell outside, it's still winter. And by the darkness of my kitchen, it's still winter. We have false spring here in East Tennessee. So it was in the 70s a couple days this week, and then it gets dreary and rainy, and we'll be back to freezing temperatures, I think, the day after tomorrow. That's just how we roll over here. We're like, it's spring, psych! Let me go stir my jam real quick, and we'll finish these off. See, it is very high in here. I'm just keeping it going. It's going to boil out a lot of water and liquid and then get thick and gel-like. And because I'm doing a double batch, it's taking longer than normal, but it's like a boil for 20 to 30 minutes thing anyways, this no pectin one, because you're counting on everything to naturally happen. Pectin was kind of invented not just to ensure the gel, but to make it happen faster. So, and when I say invented, I mean like commercial pectin. Obviously, pectin wasn't invented. It already exists in fruit. All right, this is the last little crew here. This box is empty. Almost done, almost done. Woohoo! Last box empty. All right. These can get pushed aside for the chickens. Let's get these pureed and see how close we are to 6 cups. It might take right about all of these. We are done with the slicing and dicing. Yes. Okay. I'm actually going to leave this one that is going to go into powder. I'm going to leave it in my refrigerator instead of the freezer so that I can pour it out onto the freeze drying sheet. And I think it'll be good for at most 2 days before I can swap out loads. But the puree will go straight into the freezer. Okay, let's check on the jelly because I bet it is starting to turn, just starting to turn. Okay, so here's what you want to see right now. When I first put it in, it was quite lighter or brighter in color, and now it's just starting to turn dark. And when it first starts to boil, it has a ton of foam, and some of that foam is now kind of being incorporated in there. It's starting to get thicker. It's not at all gel-like, but it's starting to get thicker. And it will get, this is like maybe the halfway mark. It will get a lot darker and a lot thicker by the end. Okay, so during the interim, I did have a little bit of a boil over. I caught it pretty quick, turned off the heat so that the bubbles go down, and I scooped some out into a bowl, turned it back on. So there's how to deal with a boil over. If this gets hard to clean off of the stovetop, because sometimes this jelly depending on where it is in the process when it boils over, it can be very hard, like Jolly Rancher candy stuck to your stovetop. Just cover it with boiling water. Just use boiling water. It melts it right back down. That's the easiest way to clean it up. So that's just my tip if you boil over. But what I'm going to do is I'm still going to can this. And I am going to, when this goes out and into the canner, I'm going to boil up the rest into jelly. But I think I might, kind of been smelling the strawberry stuff all day has put me in the mood for wanting a bit of a treat. So I might make little strawberry danishes or something with the jelly that I make instead of canning it. This is getting closer. Darker, not really much thicker, but it's darker. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is jamming. Let's check it out. Get the plate, spoon. It is really dark and thick. I give it a second. If you haven't seen me do the plate test before, I give it a second to cool down to room temperature. That's why I like the frozen plate, because you won't know your jam is jammed or set until it comes down to full room temperature, and the freezing plate makes it come down fast, but it doesn't actually freeze it. Okay, you see that, how slow it's moving? That is jam right there. It's moving kind of close. I could give it another minute or two if I wanted, but honestly, I think the time I've stood here talking to you about the plate has probably been enough. So I'm going to get this into jars now. So I could, with my little snafu, I could get some jars filled. I could get it in the canner. I could get the rest of the jelly on, get it finished, and, you know, just switch it out. But I think I just had an idea that I wanted to play with. And so I think I'm not going to worry about getting the other bit. I'm going to get it to gel, but I'm not going to get it canned. I'm not going to worry about canning it. I want it fresh for an experiment. 1/4-inch headspace. Get lids on. We'll get these into the canner. So I had a last minute unplanned idea. What I decided to do with some of the jam that I did not can was make some jelly filled donuts. I have made donuts a ton before, but I've never made jelly filled donuts, which filled donuts are my favorite, so I'm not sure why I haven't done them. But just the idea of a warm, fresh donut with warm strawberry jam inside sounded so good. So I looked up a recipe on the internet really quick. I will link it below. It came out delicious. I fried them up. I learned how to poke holes in them. And then I filled them. I was not very proficient with the whole Ziploc bag filling of the donut thing. I think that I would go for a pastry piper tip next time, even though the directions on the recipe said that wasn't the easiest. To me, I think it would be easier because I struggled filling them. But these were delicious and a hit with the whole family. And now it seems like I can only eat my jam warm. Having this just made it set for me. Thank you guys so much for joining me in the kitchen today. It took pretty much all day, but we got a lot done. I hope you enjoyed what we did here with all the jams and the lemonade and the purees and everything. And I hope to see you again on a future video.